Okay. Um, every time, I think the purpose of me making videos is just to show consistency of what's happening to me, because when you do things that they've done yesterday, the day before, and I've recorded all the things they've done, sometimes, unfortunately, I don't capture the exact manipulation they make me experience. But in this case, it's obvious, but it's disturbing at the same time. Uh, So let me just start with the beginning, with my introduction. I'm what you call a target individual. I'm a TI, and as a target individual, I understand that I'm a human subject in a program where we are manipulated, and who's we, the target individuals, the human subject. We're manipulated in disgusting ways because we're human subject in this program that we're just manipulate, like we're just guinea pigs where they're using this extremely sophisticated technology to do things to us that are just so nasty, and so disturbing. Then we're supposed to be identifying with these manipulations, and you hear this trash contracted by these same entities that do these things to you, who are trying to get you to accept this manipulation, these perceptions. They do whatever they need to do to get you to accept this, and there's so much gaslighting and diverging at the same time. It's like they try to confuse you while wanting you to accept things. So when you see things for the things for what they're doing, they just confuse you. So let me just start. There's so much I want to say at once. Sometimes it's just I don't know where to start. But I'm a target individual and human subject for this program that we're just guinea pigs. The technology they utilize onto us is technology coming from the Department of Defense, and they utilize tactics from the CIA and other things like that, and those kind of entities. And just imagine MK Ultra, but times so much more. Where now these entities have resources coming from the DoD, technology from the DoD, and expertise from the CIA. And so we are just those guinea pigs that the goal to this is obviously to develop this technology that is meant to increase the precision of the manipulations, of the control. And we're just database. We're samples of how they can control people better and better. It's so disturbing. And I'm just thankful that as a human subject in this program, got the chance to see things for what they are, because part of the things they do is to try to gaslight you, and they use these bottom feeders. You hear a lot of things about neighbors are doing this and that. And the people in the community are all supposed to get you to subscribe to this manipulation. They make you experience this nastiness, and then they're like, oh no, we're this and we're that. Try to make it seem like it's anything but the same entities that have done this to so many others. They are truly the bottom feeders. They are truly the trash. Then you find more things. If you go to my last video or few last videos, like I made a video about there's something. Please go see this and you'll understand how disgusting these people are. We're target individuals, and like I said, we're just guinea pigs. Now, here's the things they do to us. The technology they utilize, some of it is called synthetic telepathy and V2K. The voice is called the V2K is when they project their voices onto your brain. They are able to project their voices, and you can hear them interacting with you directly to your brain. What they use this usually with me is just once they make me experience these manipulations, which the manipulation come from synthetic telepathy. This is some technology, and I cannot speak about the details. Obviously, I'm just a human subject, but I can tell you what I'm experiencing, the symptoms of what's happening from being a guinea pig to that. They hook me to this device that can manipulate so much of my thoughts, my memory, my perceptions, my reactions. It's like you're no longer yourself. It's just things are just changed in every ways that you experience things. And then these people via V2K, voice to skull, start trying to gaslight you. It's you now, you're attracted, you this and that. Like they say whatever they need to just confuse you. And these people who are contracted by these governmental entities, which are those perps you hear, they start making noise campaign. They start making themselves cough, like they caught you just experiencing something that's so organically happening. And there's other technology that does things to your organs. For example, my body is just being destroyed. Nobody's literally coming and doing things to me, but my organs are just slowly just failing, right? And this is because they're using this technology. Now, some of the things they use too is called psyops, right? They create this like facade of reality that's so falsified that they somehow this is like this group of like rogue, avenging feminist protectors of women and children, and with their money and their expertise and their technologies and materials, they're doing these things to me to avenge, and this is you, and they just invest. Like there's so much confusion of what they try to portray themselves as, and it's obvious that you're just trying to create this fake reality when the reality is you obviously are contracted or you are employed by these entities that do these things to target individuals all around the world. This is really saying the kind of overall things they do. Now, the tactics. I talked about the things they do to our bodies. They destroy our bodies. But our mind is also manipulated and distracted in different ways to create some psychological torment. They have these tactics that people have called pedophilia type of tormenting, pedophilia type of torture. That is the most disgusting things. This program have utilized pedophilia as a tool to create psychological torment, psychological torture. It is so nasty. And they have normalized these tactics, and you hear people who thinks that they can maintain this normality of who they are, like they want to be normal people while doing these things, and have normalized these things to sound like it's cool or and at least fierce, that it makes them like kind of badass to utilize pedophilia type of tormenting. And what I mean by pedophilia type of torture, for example, if you go through my channel, you'll see a bunch of videos about they made me experience this, about this kid, they make me look at this kid this way, they make me look, is the same things over and over every day. You know, you'll see the same stuff, and it's disgusting. And you can imagine if you're a human subject, and I know when I speak about that, it sounds crazy, but if you go through my videos, you'll see that I'm not the only one saying that. You'll see that there is a pattern others have said that's just so much of a pattern that you cannot ignore. But the pattern is beyond that, and I'll get to that later on after I'm done with the program. So I've said it, that the pedophilia type of torture consists of making you experience disgusting sexual reactions toward children. And then they have perps to do everything possible to get you to accept this nastiness. It's like I'm putting, like, this is an example. I put drugs in your pockets, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's your drug, that's your drug. You say you're a drug dealer, it's yours. You're doing this is, and then people are coughing. Oh my God, we caught you with this drug, right? Now imagine that in a more technological way. They make you see things in disgusting ways. For example, and there's so many other examples. Please go through my other videos if you ever have. And unfortunately, this time I didn't take. Usually I take a screenshot, but it was so quick. As there was like a YouTube ad that came, and I'm like, oh my. Usually I close my eyes when YouTube ads comes, because if there's a child, they're gonna do these nasty things. But I guess at this point I kind of let my guard down. I kind of did not do that. And immediately there was this like Wholesome ad, I think it was a car ad, I'm not sure, and you see this little toddler girl designing a car and showing to her father, and the father is looking, something like that. The kid is like 5 to 6 years old, maybe 6 to 4, between the baby, very wholesome. She's sitting down at her little table, the father is in front of her, and she's drawing something, and this like little Asian little baby, the way they made me perceive this baby is so disgusting. They do so much ways of forcing you to experience disgusting. They can give you disgusting sensation, but they also can manipulate your perception. Some of the disgusting things on top of, like, all of it is disgusting, but one of the things they sometimes do, when it's not just the sensations or even the stimulation they can force you, is a perception. They start trying to make me look at this little kid, this little baby, and create, like, make me perceive this baby, like, in a way that's, like, try to give her, like, it's hard to even express, like, womanly perception. Like she got like she's a little baby. Try to make her little butt try to like look like it's like giving curves. It's so disgusting, and you're like, what? How nasty it is. And they can create these perceptions. It's just like this baby. And as I'm saying that, because they want me to identify, it's like, oh my gosh, you're so nasty, you'll snap. Oh my God. Yeah, because they want you to be like, oh, this is so you. You hear these bottom feeders contracted by these entities to gaslight you, to make you believe that this experience is just happening organically. Right? So this perp, because he or she is saying that he's not identifying with this. He knows it's falsified. He's describing how we're wanting him to see this kid. And he's not identifying with it. So what did they do? They come up and say, he's going to snap you, he's going to kill you, he's going to stab you. It's like, whatever is going to happen to me. I've recognized the manipulations. And your job, your nasty low-life job, is to get you to make me accept these things, which I know I'm not going to subscribe to. And I understand what they do. You see, as a target individual, you got to see things for what they are. The way they made me look at this baby, in a way they try to like create like curves in a weird way on a baby. It's so disgusting. And it's like this baby, like, and she's sitting down. It just, your brain can be played and create perception. And unfortunately, better for them when I don't get a chance to create, like to take a screenshot, because then it's like in my mind, you see how you're trying to create this thing? Do you see how disgusting it is? That's why I make videos about what they do to me. And unfortunately, when the ad came, as I was pressing skip, that's when I saw the baby. It was too late. It's like, oh my gosh, shit, I missed it. Because I wanted to take a screenshot, and I'll be like, this is how they make me try to look at this baby. Giving her like a perception of like some kind of curves on a baby. It's like so crazy. But your brain is such a manipulated thing now. Imaginations, perceptions are just so disgustingly manipulated. But these people have this like track record of doing these things too. They have this record of this system of doing things. It's like systematic. So you can experience that, but you can hear somebody say the same thing, that they experience the same thing by this trash. They have this thing, like this niche with pedophilia, that they create these ways of perceiving children. It is so disgusting. And then you have this trash who are trying to get you to accept it. They want you to like identify with these nasty things. That's why I take screenshots. The best thing for them is when I don't take pictures or screenshot of what they do, because my imagination is the best thing they can, like, that's where they can do so much. That's when they can create things and perception. Can you imagine this wholesome picture? This not even the whole. This wholesome ad where you see this little baby drawing, and she's giving it to her dad, and they try to make me like see like this kid is sitting down too. It's trying to give her like curve, like just, I'm like, you're disgusting trash. And then it's time to just make you accept this. Not what we did. We just mapped it. We mapped it this way. This is how you will see it. Now, it's been clear that they do this pedophilia type of torture. It's super obvious that they've done that. Now, first of all, you know yourself. And you know that this is crazy. I will never, ever perceive this thing like that. I'm scared to look at any ads because there might be a child in there. If there's a kid in it, they're going to destroy me one way or another. They're going to either give me to have this disgusting perception, they can give me this weird sensation, or they can give me like a pure sexual stimulation. Like literally, like just feeling like your libido just getting cranked up. And then you have these perps who just come via V2K or sometime in real time, like just like literally in the hallways. Just like, oh no, man, they always gonna see how they're gonna get raped, you're gonna be tortured, and then some V2K trash talks to me via this technology, and like, oh no, what we do, we're mapping your brain to be like that, to try to get you to accept this manipulation that has been so validated that they do that to so many others. It's been so validated. I mean, everything I said I'm experiencing has been said to others, by others. Everything is so, like, it's really scary to hear somebody who said the same thing. But the reason why I make the same videos about the same thing all the time is because I want to show the consistent pattern of what they do. And it's just disturbing. Now, I've talked about this manipulation many times, um, and I'm never gonna subscribe to it. In every form I've talked about it, and these perps don't like that. They like they don't like the fact that I'm not identifying, that I'm able to express myself in what I'm experiencing, instead of how they want me to feel guilty for this disgusting perception that they manipulate me to have, but they want me to be like, oh my gosh, feel guilty, it's you. Now, let me just kind of explain how disgusting this is. Now, I understand the purpose they're doing this for the program. This is one of the tactics that you heard so many other people say. They make you look at babies in disgusting ways. They make you have these disgusting stimulations. And I want to make sure I go through everything and then get back to the end. These people have used this technique to depattern you, right? They do these horrible things to break you down and make you accept this new version of you and repattern you in these different ways. And they want you to start seeing yourself in the disgusting ways. But you've learned more and more about this program. For me to be able to express myself and articulate this is because at this point I've heard so much. You gotta understand, the psychological torture is not only, and this torture is not only applied to men and women, but it's also applied to children. As I said, this is a program to control, to continue the improvement of this technology that can precisely manipulate people, and adding more to it consists of doing this to more people. This is not only happening to men and women who are saying the same thing about this pedophilia type of torture. They torture children too. This is the nasty things about this low life. The torture are not only psychological, but just like us, they're also sexual. We're talking about babies, toddlers. As they make you look at children these ways, please understand they have no problem torturing children and are torturing children in some of the most disgusting ways. As an adult man or even an adult woman, it's one thing to be tortured, but to know that they torture children just add to what the reality of what these people are. The cowardness and the low-lifeness of these people are just not on this earth. But they have normalized these things and think that they can just confuse somebody into forgetting this. With me, it's just been, please understand, I know what you guys do. And God give me strength to not be aggressive when I see them, because I know that this manipulation is disgusting. But it's worse to know that not only they do that to men and women, but they do that to children. And they do these things, and they're so coward. They're so cowardly. It's so disturbing to know they sexually torture children. And they also manipulate them in so many ways. But with me, what's happening is when they do this pedophilia type of torture, right? When they make me perceive a child this way, or have sexual stimulations, or have me have like the way that, because it's not only like one-time thing, it's all the time. They literally conditioning your brain in these ways. They truly are trying to rewrite your brain into something else and repattern your brain in these pedophilia ways. It's so disgusting that there is human beings right now who are living life, their life consists of their dedication of life right now. I don't know for how long they're doing it for, is to make a man or woman perceiving, experiencing everything every time they look at a child in this way, in this sexual way. Their job right now, their dedicated life, is to make people experience pedophilia reactions. That is their job. This is somebody's life right now. They wake up, and that's their job. It's so disturbing. So when they do these things to me, then they're like, no, what we're doing, we're making you experience what you experienced when you were a kid. This is what you experienced when you were a kid. And they're like, no, you know what? Because when I was in middle school, the dumb, stupid moment of my childhood, the one moment that is just embarrassing to think about it, but kids, you gotta see things for what they are, because these people want to disorient reality. Now, you understand they torture children. These people are not here to protect children. Matter of fact, as I continue to speak, please understand how disturbing and scary and threatening they are to children. So these people who make you experience these disgusting things, and it's not just me, that's the validation part. It's like it's so systematically done. When they make you experience these nasty things, for example, see this innocent commercial, because there's a baby there, a little girl, they're gonna try to create this perception that is so disturbing, And unfortunately, I didn't take a screenshot. I would for sure take a screenshot. And they know this because they know I don't identify with this L never. So the next step is going to be very terrible for me, but at least I got the chance to see things for what they are. But what they're saying is, no, but what you did as a kid, as a middle school, I did some dumb things to myself, and it's just embarrassing. But for them, this is like something they can hold on so much onto. As they do the pedophilia type of torture, they go back to that. No, but remember what you did as a kid. It's like, I'm not a kid, and I know what a kid is capable of doing. And when I was a kid, I was not perceiving kids in this way. You are making me perceiving them like that today, and then say that you matched it to me when I'm in middle school. It is disturbing to understand that this is the things they do, but you gotta understand they do that to everybody. That is what they sign up for. You know, they've tricked themselves into, like, even another trick. The way they try to cope with it is just comical. Like I said, they try to tell themselves, we are at war. This is war. Oh, now you pay for what you did as a kid. All the kind of, first of all, they're in a program that literally torture children. They are burning kids. They are sexually torturing kids. They are suffocating kids. They are getting kids sick. They are blinding children. This is what they're involved in. So you understand they're already in a program that does these horrible things to kids. And for them to be like, no, pay for what you did as a kid, and try to exaggerate what I did as a child. Because what they do that to children and women. And so in their mind, they want to trick themselves into like feeling like they're just like normal. When the reality is, first of all, I'm not a child. So you're saying that you're making me think like a child to protect children? You understand? But the truth is, they do this pedophilia type of torture. They just want you to kind of start rationalizing the way you're being forced to experience things. Because the pedophilia type of torture is what they do. And at this point, I don't know which, I made so many videos, and go into like the last 3 ones, you'll hear testimonials that, oh, I've been getting the pedophilia type of torture. They make me have this thing. They aim this stimulation toward children. They like all these things. That's so obvious they do pedophilia type of torture. So that is, matter of fact, after I'm done with this video, because they try to raise these things, I'm going to play this testimonial for myself to hear. Because once you hear everything, it's like, oh my gosh, it's so obvious they manipulate me this way. And in one of my last videos, they're like, no, there's something in your brain. That's why you can, there's something there. Yes, there is something there. And the something is you. I have people who have been renowned to be doing the pedophilia type of torture, manipulating my brain. That is the something. That is why I'm forced to get this nasty manipulation. I remember when I was able to be normal and see things for what they are. It feels long, because since August 19, 2019, it's been just pure manipulations. Disturbing ways. And these people who are around, I know they're not the people in charge. I understand. They are just basically incentivized to do this. And I'm sure there's benefits from doing what they do. And the benefit is not protecting the neighborhood or protecting children. If anything, they do the opposite of that. Some of them have children, and they are here working on how to manipulate a brain of an adult, man or woman, to think about kids in disgusting ways. That's their job, for the purpose of me losing my mind. And this is what this program is supposed to be doing. Now, when things become so nasty, is that they don't only do that for the program purpose. This tormenting manipulations is not. It's for the program, right? This is handbook tactics. What disturbs me is the obvious entity running this program. These entities that are running this type of program and making and creating this technology, and they're the one really behind this. They actually have problem with pedophilia. They actually have real problem with pedophilia. And I didn't know, because you experience these things, like, who can come up with these ways of breaking people down? Who can, like this is one of many. Perception manipulation. And honestly, it's more frustrating than disturbing, because I'm frustrated I didn't take a screenshot of what they were doing. But sometimes it gets worse than that. The sensation, I would say, the stimulations are even worse. The perception is just like nonsensical. They try to give this baby like it's this baby that's sitting down. On top of that, it's a baby, but she's sitting down. Like, what are you trying to, like, what are you creating? This little baby. It's like, no, you see her back, and she was like, oh my gosh, it's so disturbing. And my brain really tried to find ways, and every time they create a way to think about it in the sexual way, it's like, now we mapped it. Yes, you manipulated my brain to think this way. But the entities who have empowered these people to manipulate, mapping my brain in these ways, those technologies are deriving from entities where pedophilia is a true freaking problem. I don't know if it's a coincidence that they do the pedophilia type of torture and the entities running this program have problem with pedophilia. I don't know if that's just a coincidence. But the reality is there's a problem with pedophilia in these agencies. The DOD has so much issue with pedophilia, they try to pass a bill for it. The intelligence community just had an article come out from BuzzFeed that said there's so many pedophiles in these agencies. There's a pattern that there's pedophiles that do things that are so disturbing, and child porn is just circulating around there like it's nothing, and nobody's getting prosecuted, or almost nobody. And it's been ongoing for years. It's been a pattern of an issue. So you know that these people, even though they contract these low lives, this low life, and when I mean low life, I don't mean in the sense that they haven't accomplished things. Some of them are just children; they just literally haven't accomplished anything. Some of them have accomplished things; they have regular jobs. Some of them are parents. But these people, who are called low lives, is like, you not only do this pedophilia type of torture, which obviously I know is manipulated, and you know that too because you do that to me. But you also understand that you are working for entities where pedophilia is not manipulated, where people are actually living this pedophilia life that you're implanting in my brain. And you are just bottom feeders for those entities. And you literally have sold your soul to pedophiles. And today, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, day after Christmas, New Year's, your own birthday, now every day of your life has been dedicated to manipulate people to think in the pedophilia ways. And then try to convince me who know me, who's been me long enough to know who I am, to think, no, what we're doing, we're mapping your brain like this, we mapped it, you can do this. And I know that not only you do that to me, but you do that to others. But for me, I'm supposed to be like, no, what we do, we mapped it to you when you were a kid, you thought like that, like our kids, our babies, our girls. And they say these kind of things in these ways. For our babies. For our babies, we're making you a baby. For our babies, we're making you a kid. Pay now. And I'm like, do you know I know you torture children? And do you know I know that you guys work for entities where you actually have problem with pedophilias? You are the threat of these babies. I mean, some of the nasty things you hear about, like the people they call on the CIA side, they were getting child porn from mothers, filming their babies. I'm like, it's not too far from what these people do. Because some of these low-life have sold their children to pedophiles. These people are pedophiles. In the sense that there's a culture of pedophilia. There is a pedophilia-centric culture in these agencies and entities. But they're trying to normalize this thing. They try to make it like because they've utilized it as a tool. But now it's not just a problem, like it's not just a tool, but it's a lifestyle for some people in these entities. There is a problem with pedophilia. There is a lot of, listen, a few days ago I found out there was like a whole like bill to try to stop the circulation of child porn because Child Protective Services were ranking this DOD network as like top tier child pornography sharing networking using DOD devices and DOD networking, right? And for me, because this program is also run by not only DOD, but expertise of intelligence community, like for sure CIA is involved in this. And we know that those entities have learned how to create psyops. They try to present you a facade to try to make you believe anything but what this is about. So for me, there's been like this disgusting psyop and facade of female, and I'm saying female on purpose, female trying to make you believe that we are, just because we're a gender, we're this like feminist, strong, fierce woman, because us being female makes us fierce doing this. It is so disturbing because you hear a lot. The reason why I'm so validated is because women have spoke up more than men and have described what I'm describing. I mean, if you have any doubts, please go and look at my last video my last few videos where I think it's called There Is Something. You're gonna hear testimonials of women, not female, women saying they do this pedophilia type of torture. One of the women was saying that I was smelling baby powder, and they started giving me this disgusting sexual stimulation because the smell of baby powder. The same woman said they can do this thing where they manipulate your thoughts and disturbing, perverted perceptions. Now, I'm not gonna stand here and pretend like I don't have not thought in perverted ways toward women, but what they're doing is they apply that toward babies. And I don't think when they say perverted to her, when she's saying that, it's like, no, they don't make her think about men in this sexual way. I'm sure as a grown woman, she had sexual perverted thoughts toward men in her life. I think when she meant by perverted is this pedophilia type of tormenting they do to her. Because she then calls it out multiple times. They do this pedophilia type of torture throughout just making her smell something that smells like a baby, and then like baby powder, disgusting right now, even saying that they try to change into something disturbing. Baby powder, then giving her some kind of stimulations, or even through dreams, making her have pedophilia-centric dreams, just like me. They've done the same thing. And when she say perverted, I'm sure it's going into that same realm of things. It is disgusting. But that's what they do. So when they do this psyop, and like we are this group of, it's like, shut the fuck up. You guys, whatever gender you are, whatever you do outside, once you involve in this program, you are in a program that is manipulating men and women and children in disturbing ways and using human subject as guinea pigs for the development of this program. You are obviously not running this program. I don't think my next door neighbors are the one in charge. I know they participate, but they're not in charge. I know this, whatever, like weird looking or whatever, like, it's funny how they walk with like so much, like, it's so disturbing because I know you're just a nothing, but they make themselves walk because they feel, you know, have you seen somebody feeling empowered, but you know they're nothing in this thing, like they're just the bottom feeders, but because they're empowered by what they're capable of doing to you, because you are a human subject, you know that you're nothing, but she makes herself walking like with this, like, ugh, I was like, you're such a fraud. I know you're just a nothing. Matter of fact, if it was an aggressive man, if it was somebody who was aggressive, they will let me do things to you. They will let me kill you easily. They was like, oh, please go ahead. What? We can add that to our sample. They will love that. You truly are nothing, and I understand that. So what's the point of even getting, why would you even want to be aggressive to these nothings? Look at these things. Look. This trash fund empowerment in implementing these nasty pedophilia things. Look how weak you are. Well, you can't even say the name of a pedophile, and the entities that run this program are filled with pedophiles downloading child porn and sharing child porn within this network that's being ranked top tier. And now you're in this commercial try to make me look at this baby who's sitting down in this sexual way. Try to make her see her body. How even? She's even sitting down. How can you even make me imagine this baby's butt? On top of the disturbing things they do, is even more nonsensical because even like the way you wanted me to imagine, it can't even be done. It's like in every way you just see how disgusting they are. But imagination is imagination. They can make you imagine it and perceive things in disgusting ways, and it's disturbing. You know, and then I get frustrated. It's like, why did I not take a picture or screenshot of that? Because if you saw what I was talking about, you'd be like, what the hell? Now, like I said, these people work for entities, or these entities are running this program, are entities where pedophilia is truly a problem. If you ever have doubts of that, go review this bill, U.S. bill that went through Congress in 2019. I think it was introduced in 2019. The bill is called U.S. 1413. Right? Read through that. This is specifically to the DoD. And if you get some more information, you'll find out that the reason why they were trying to implement this bill is because there was just this nasty pattern being seen at the DoD. That, yes, child porn is navigating through the website, not through the website, through the internet. Like, there's a lot of nastiness in that regard. but the DoD is being ranked as a top tier in regard of networking, network that has so much child porn being circulating on this network, right? And so that bill was trying to do this, but it's not even that. One thing that they say that it's not surprising because there was like a huge like investigation called Operation Flicker. Then Operation Flicker had nothing to do with the government, in the sense that they were not trying to to catch any government, Pentagon or DoD person, employee. They weren't trying to do that. They were just investigating a child porn website that people would register, or not even register. They would just subscribe to it, and they'll pay like a monthly fee of like $60 or something like that to get child porn. And there was a bunch of like DoD and Pentagon, civilian and non-civilian, employee. I'm talking about NSA and others. So it's just so nasty shit. Excuse my language, but nastiness. And that was in 2007, and this ranking came up in 2018. And that's just like the DoD. The BuzzFeed article just kind of specifically talks about like the CIA agencies, where they have their own nastiness of issues and patterns where almost nothing happens to them. Even in the case of somebody literally getting caught doing something to, like, not even just child porn, but literally caught doing things to a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. This CIA agent, the only thing that happened to that person who was doing things to a 2-year-old and 6-year-old, not prosecuted. No. Let me repeat that. Did something to a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. They know that he did something to a 2-year-old and 6-year-old. Did not get prosecuted. Guess what? What's the horrible things they did to him? They fired him. Oh yeah. And you can't even know who it is. Just let him go. And this inspector, was the inspector general of the intelligence community. All he did is just like, they blacked out the name of who he was, and just let know that the CIA agent was just let go for that, for doing something to a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. You understand? That's the nastiness we're talking about. Now, going back to this program. This program is about manipulating and improving these manipulations, and adding precision to the manipulations. For example, I'm hearing somebody say, keep talking, because even talking is beneficial for them. But I'm okay with that. Let that being used in whatever ways. But in the meantime, for those involved in this, they're going to have to endure reality as they do whatever they need to do. And so, for example, me talking is going to help them control my speech at some point even more. But if that's what's going to happen, let me speak and say these things. I will continuously talk for that purpose. I'm okay with that. Do whatever you need to do with my voice. But for you, involved in this, you're going to have to live this life of understanding reality. And so for whatever happens to these bottom feeders who chose the easy route, which is good for them. I love when they call themselves gods, because I know they're nothings, right? And I love when they call me a nothing, because I'm like, I'd rather be a nothing than a god like you. Because these people do these horrible things to us, target individual. And us is not just men and women, it's kids. They torture children. And this trash who find this easy, it's very easy to do what they do. All you have to do is to be able to do the foulness. You have to look at yourself. Like, there's, they do these things where they try to interact with me via and somebody wrote, like, for me, they control everything around me. My dating apps are filled with perps. And I can see when they write their bios, they will say things like, I'm the enemy of shame, right? And I know that it's directed to me. Because I say, like, to do what they do, you cannot have shame. For example, it's shameful to know that the DoD has a bunch of issue with child porn, and you are working in a program where your job is to manipulate people in these disgusting ways, and they're like, now we're protecting our community for our girls. And you look at them, it's like, first of all, you're working for entities where pedophilia is such an issue, and you manipulate people in these disgusting ways. And the shame of it is sometimes the people who tell you who you are like child-like minded individual. It's like, nah, that's you. And I'm not trying to just mock them, but that's how they sound. It's like a kid telling you, nah, it's you, that's you. And you know, it's like, oh my gosh, look at this imbecile. And so I'm like, you have to have no shame to have to deal with this. Do you think this childlike individuals tell me it's you is investigating and mapping your brain, or is it perhaps what they've been doing to people for the deck for so many times, for how long they've been doing this for, that you heard the testimonials? Those people who've known to be doing the pedophilia type of torture, but because this childlike individual is like, now that's you, speaking in these ways. And then they get the frustration of me not subscribing to that is it's gonna get to them. They tell me how they're gonna frame me in this pedophilia, which they're so disturbing, and that's why they have to be shameless, because instead of finding ways to be like, they're validating me when they try to be like convincing to me. It's like, you know what, we're gonna dare to put child porn on your computer, and you're like, do you think that it doesn't make sense of that you guys are a bunch of pedos now? What entities is being ranked top tier? What entity is having problem with child porn being circulating within the network? Okay. What program is being utilized to manipulate people in disgusting ways? So with people involved in this program where they talk about pedophilia type of torture utilized to break people down, how would they frame you? Perhaps in a pedophilia way? Okay, these people that can manipulate your brain in these disgusting ways, would these people tell you they can frame you by implanting child porn, or you're going to frame you by saying that you did something to a kid? Would they be manipulative to your brain in a pedophilia way? Perhaps they could do that. People who say that they're going to frame you by implanting child porn, people who are going to frame you saying that they're going to say that you did something to a child, and work for a program where your brain can be manipulated in so many perverted ways. Would that perverted way be pedophilia centric? Yes. So they validate me when they try to be fierce. And by the way, there's a lot of women being tortured the same way I'm being tortured. Oh, and when they try to say, no, but you pay for what you did as a kid, I'm like, okay, so you tell me you involved in a program who has these recordings of the torture they've done to children. We're not talking about long ago. It's happening today. Sexual torture of kids as young as 3 years old with challenges, mental challenges. You are involved in this program, and you tell me that you're going to make me pay. You involved in a program where they torture children, even sexually, in other many ways, suffocations and getting them sick. You're going to involve in that program that harm and do horrible things to kids. But you tell me that you're going to make me pay for the stupid thing I did in middle school while you are in a program that is torturing children. Do you understand that you got to see them for what they are? And do you understand they are working for entities where there's a bill called End Defense Network Abusive Act. Do you think these people who are circulating child porn will not be abusive to children sexually? Well, you tell me about me as a kid and do the pedophilia type of torture that you've been doing to others, and then tell me that you're mapping to me as a kid when you are working for entities that are sharing child porn in such a volume that is being ranked top tier. And you want me to be like, no, with you guys we're different because one, we're female, that makes us very different, and two, we're making you think the way you thought when you were a kid. And we're not doing the pedophilia type of torture that almost all target individuals, once were surveyed, said they were experiencing. So to all my target individual, this is why I make the videos I make. Is because I want to ensure that for this low life who sold his soul to pedophiles and their children's soul, because like I said, they say they're gonna frame me. Some of the frames they tell me is one child here or some children here. I don't know which ones, but some kids here. Sometimes I hear some childlike individuals saying, "You're 13. I'm 13 years old. I'm 14 years old," and they tell me how they're gonna frame me, right? And they tell me how they're gonna lie. We lie, right? And they say the reason why they say that is because they want to make it sound like they're like vengeful after the horrible testimony I'm hearing. And so they send these kids who have parents, and those parents have let them involve themselves in these disgusting things, knowingly that the entities there have sacrificed their kid for whatever incentives have so much problem with pedophilia. There is no way to not see them for what they are. If you have the chance, go watch my last video about There's Something, and you'll see how dumbed down they have to make themselves be. So my target individual, stay strong.